The most competitive presidential election campaign in Belarus for decades has seen a wave of discontent against the Eastern European country's authoritarian leader coincide with a dramatic escalation in tensions with Russia. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, 65, is seeking his sixth term in office, having been in power since 1994. The opposition has united behind Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, 37, who despite initially being reluctant to stand after her husband was barred from running and jailed by authorities, ultimately decided to challenge Lukashenko. The Belarusian Electoral Commission blocked two other political rivals from being able to run against the president. One of them, Viktor Babariko, 56, was imprisoned on what his supporters say are fake charges. The other, Valery Tsepkalo, 55, fled to Russia after alleged reports from security officials suggested he may soon face arrest and be stripped of his parental rights. Voters will cast their ballots on Sunday. It deserves attention because a similar situation in Ukraine resulted in a global geopolitical confrontation. Christopher Granville, managing director of EMEA and global political research at TS Lombard, told CNBC via telephone. The big difference between Belarus and Ukraine, he argued, is that when Kyiv endured a strongman leader teetering amid a lack of popular support in 2014, Russia was acutely aware of the diplomatic language used in a 2008 NATO summit communique that stated Ukraine and Georgia would go on to become members of the military alliance. Therefore, the signal for Russia was very clear that, at the first opportunity, the Americans will bounce Ukraine into NATO, Granville said. And that was why when you had violent regime change in Ukraine 6 years later, in 2014, Russia moved extremely fast to secure what it considered to be its vital interests. While the context of NATO is not the same when it comes to Belarus, Granville made clear the upcoming election could end pretty badly. He warned it was absolutely realistic to foresee a scenario in which Lukashenko would falsify the result of the vote to claim victory and orchestrate a brutal response by security forces to suppress mass protests. You could be looking at a full-on revolution in Central Eastern Europe, Granville said. The Belarusian government did not respond to a request for comment when contacted by CNBC. Ahead of the vote, Belarusian authorities arrested more than 30 suspected Russian mercenaries, accusing them of plotting terrorist acts to destabilize the country. Russia has dismissed the allegations, demanding that Belarus immediately release the security contractors. The Belarusian State Security Committee said on Wednesday that it had detained 32 employees from the secretive Russian private military group Wagner outside Minsk, with one other person detained in the south of the country.